Hello, everyone. Good evening. Happy holidays. I am so happy to be here today. My name is Yael Brudner. I'm an immigration attorney located in Southern California in Orange County. And I am excited to be here for our last live of 2023. So happy holidays to everyone. I hope everyone has great plans for the holiday season and you're excited to spend some time with your family and friends and loved ones. And thank you for everyone that sent questions for us during the week. We have some great questions. And if you are here today, then welcome. Feel free to ask questions today live if you have an immigration case pending or you are thinking of starting an immigration case and have some questions. I'm here to answer them today. If you are new here on Facebook or on YouTube, I'm streaming live to both, then please like us on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube so that you can get more information about immigration and you'll get some updates about these kind of events that we have. I go live every week and I just do immigration Q&A. So I'm here to answer questions and talk about immigration topics. Everything I say today is general information, so it's not personalized legal advice, but don't worry. If you are interested in getting a one-on-one personal evaluation and advice about your case, I'm happy to meet with you at a consultation and review your case. And our number is here. It's 714-794-9366, or you can send us a direct message and we'll reach out to you and coordinate a call. Okay. So I'm almost ready to jump into some really awesome questions. Good evening, Kobe. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Did you have your immigrant visa interview yet? I know you were waiting. So give me an update. Perfect. Before I jump into some of the questions, a lot of the questions that we've been getting and a lot of the consultations here that recently that we're seeing here in the office have to do with marriage-based immigration. A lot of couples are considering making the U.S. their home together, and they have a lot of questions about marriage visa, fiance visa, adjustment of status. There's a lot of different options. So if you are in the process of a marriage visa or green card case and you have questions, then feel free to reach out to us or send me a DM. We have an amazing guide that we just came out with it, and it's a guide for couples immigration. So immigrating to the United States based on being in a relationship with a U.S. citizen, either marriage or fiance. Really, the guide is super comprehensive, and it talks about everything you know, everything you need to know, and answers the most frequently asked questions. So if you're interested in our guide, our couples guide to immigration, just send us a message and we'll send you the free guide. I think it's super helpful. So if you are joining now, thank you so much for joining. I'm going to be answering immigration questions today. So feel free to write your questions in the comments and I will try to get to them as I go. And also, if you're watching the recording of this, then you can still ask us questions. Just type it in and I promise to get to them. Okay? Awesome. Let's jump into some of these questions. So the first question that I have for today is, I have a pending asylum case. Can I also file for a marriage case? Okay, well, if you follow me for a while, you know that it really depends. I don't always have all of the information that I need to answer, but generally speaking, you can file a marriage case even if you have an asylum case pending. It depends logistically where your asylum case is at, because it's going to be different if you have what's called an affirmative asylum case pending with the USCIS asylum office, or you have an asylum case in court pending before an immigration judge. But generally speaking, yes, you can file for a marriage case even if you have an asylum case pending. Okay, perfect. Let's see. Hi, Sarah. Thanks for the question. Let's see. Can you discuss about the EB STEM program for international students? Do we need to have a U.S. bachelor's degree to be eligible for an EB visa? So are you talking about the EB employment-based green card, Sarah? If you are, there are different categories of employment-based. EB stands for employment-based green cards. And not for all of them, you need to have a degree, okay? And for some categories, you do need to have a degree, but it's okay to have a foreign degree. So you would have to, even if you have a degree that's from a foreign school, you can do a credential evaluation and show that it meets the requirements of the US bachelor's degree, a 4-year bachelor's degree. Okay, so to answer your question, for some of the EB categories, it really depends what the job offer is. You do need a bachelor's degree. You do have one, which is good. If it's from a foreign school, so not a US school, you will need to get that evaluated to do what's called a credential evaluation. Okay, so it's good that you have a degree. Okay, perfect. Ab is asking, can you explain about the immigration to the USA? That's a very good question. Did you have a more specific, or do you want to hear about immigration in general? You're welcome, Sarah. Thanks so much for jumping in and asking a question. I'm happy to help to answer your question about US immigration. If you're asking, if you want to provide me with a little bit more details, then I'm happy to be more specific, or I can maybe answer just in general. Kobe is asking, after paying for your visas, what's the duration before being scheduled for your interview? Oh, so I'm understanding that you haven't been scheduled yet. So it can still take several months after completing the process with the National Visa Center and being documentary qualified. It can still take several months just to get that visa interview. And it has to do with the backlog that's going on at the embassies or the consulates abroad. Okay. Okay, let me jump into some questions. Okay. This is a good one. If I join the military, can I help my parents get a green card? Okay, so for military members, for folks that have been in the military, served in the military, or they're US reserved, either being active or are veterans, there is something called parole in place that is available for you to request on behalf of your parents. And that could definitely help them. It's not necessarily the green card, but it can help make their green card process more easier and quicker, and maybe even help them do the process here in the US without leaving. So it really depends on the circumstances of your parents' entry to the United States. So it is available, parole in place is available for individuals that enter the United States without being inspected and admitted. So if your parents came in without inspection, and they only came in one time, then if you join the military, you might be able to help them get their green card in the United States, which they might not be able to do without your help. So that is amazing that you're even considering doing that for your parents. And before you make that very important decision, I would love for you to come in and have a consultation with us. You don't have to physically come in. We also do virtual consultations, but I would love for you to, for us to have a conversation. Okay. Perfect. Okay. You're welcome, Kobe. Nice to see you. Thank you for coming to our live. Okay, I'm jumping to the next question. I am married to a US citizen and I want to start the process for my green card. What documents do I need? We have a lot of questions about marriage-based immigration, and I love it. Marriage-based and family immigration, just in general, is one of our most common case types. So we do this every day and all day, and we just came out with this couples guide for immigration. So I love all these questions today. If you are married to a U.S. citizen and you want to start your process for the green card, what do you need to do? So it really depends, again, where you are living, and if you're doing the process from the U.S. or you're doing the process from your home country. So let's say that you're doing it from here, then you are eligible to file your green card here in the United States. For example, let's say you came in with a tourist visa or a student visa or any kind of different permission, and now you're married to a US citizen. So then you would be able to apply for the green card here. You would need to file a petition. Your US citizen spouse would need to file a petition on your behalf. A petition is in the I-130 form, and they would also need to file an affidavit of support on your behalf. You would have to file for your application for the green card to adjust your status, which is the 485 form. And you can also request intermediate benefits. So while you're waiting for your green card case, you can also ask for a work permit and a travel document, social security number, which are those are the 765 and the 131 forms. And I know it's a lot of form numbers and a lot of information. But definitely we would love to help you in your process and in your journey. There's a lot of documents. It's pretty document heavy, a lot of paper, but it's definitely worth it. Okay, so feel free to reach out if you have any questions and you need any help with your case. Perfect. Folks, if you are joining now, welcome and thank you for joining. My name is Yael. I'm an immigration attorney, and I am answering immigration questions. So some questions came in during the week that I'm answering now, and some have been asked live. So if you have a question, just feel free to write them in the comments, and I'll try to get to them as we go. Hi, John. John's asking, are they still waiving interviews for marriage-based AOS? It's from an F1. Amazing question. So marriage-based adjustment of status, that's AOS. Yes, they are waiving, and it's like never before. So it's not always. So some couples still have interviews. It's not completely gone away, but they have been waiving many marriage-based green cards. So this is the time, marriage-based green card interviews. So this is the time to file. If you're on the fence, if you're thinking about maybe starting next year, well, next year is very close, but starting further away, I would encourage you to take action and start your case right now, because this is one of the best times, especially for marriage-based green cards, especially if you're on a student status. You can see a very quick processing time for your case. So they're definitely waiving interviews, which is amazing. So what are the chances of getting interviewed? Well, I don't have the data of it. It's just been the last few months. I want to say maybe the last 6 months where we've been seeing a lot of interview waivers. I think the likelihood of the better your petition is, so the more thorough, the more comprehensive, the more documents you submit to prove joint residency, the more you include in your packet, the higher your chances to get an interview waiver. Okay, so I don't know to give you percentages, but I think if you file a comprehensive packet and you include everything that you need to include in there and you have significant evidence, it increases your chances to get an interview waiver. Okay. Awesome. Sarah. Okay, Sarah's clarifying, so let me just read it. You're talking about the EB2 national interest waiver. I sent my resume to an immigration lawyer and told me that while I may have impressive credentials, it's unlikely to lead to an approval for the NIW with the USCIS. I was wondering what rigorous criteria means. Well, the national interest waiver is a very interesting green card case, and there's more of a demand of it lately because of a case that came out that kind of clarified the requirements of the NIW case law that came out and actually made it easier to file for the NIW. Again, it's not easy, but kind of like a little bit simplified the requirements to qualify. Okay, but still you have to show that you meet criteria. I don't know if rigorous criteria, but you need to show that you meet criteria that justifies you being waived the requirement to go through the labor certification process, right? So for most employment-based categories, you have to go through the Department of Labor and get the position certified and have the Department of Labor say that there's no qualifying workers here in the US to do this position. Whereas with the national interest waiver, you actually don't need an employer. So it's even, that's why it's even more in demand, because people could technically self-petition without having anyone need to petition for them and not having to go through the Department of Labor process. So it's hard for me to tell you what that immigration lawyer saw on your resume or not. If you want, I can connect you with someone that can help you with a national interest waiver. We personally do not do those in our office. But if you send us a direct message, I can send you a contact of a really good attorney that I work with that does NIWs for a second opinion. Sounds good? Okay, hey John. Okay, one more question. When can we quit going to school after getting your receipt number? Okay, well, while I can't advise you to not obey by your non-immigrant status, as a student, generally speaking, if you have filed for adjustment of status and you have an adjustment of status pending, you are in a period of authorized stay, and you no longer need to show that if you are married to a U.S. citizen, there's no requirement to show that that you have been maintaining your status. Okay, so generally speaking, if you're married to a U.S. citizen and you filed for adjustment of status, you do not have a requirement to show anymore that you are maintaining status. Okay. Okay. Hi, Rosemary. We met before. I'm applying for a visa for my aunt who has an ill son. In the application, and ask for family in the U.S. If he's undocumented, will it be harmful for the process? Hi, Rosemary. I hope your aunt is doing well. Of course, I remember you. Your son is doing well. Your aunt's son is doing well. I just wouldn't mention his status. I think we talked about it. Like we discussed this kind of generally. I would just say I have this family member in the U.S. and maybe not mention status. Okay. So when we submit affidavits or letters or anything we submit or we say to immigration always has to be truthful. So if they ask you what is his status, you always have to be honest and say that he does not have status, but you don't need to necessarily provide information that you are not asked about. Okay. I hope that helps. Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone, for your great questions. And for everyone that's joining us today, if you are watching the recording of this, feel free to just shoot me your questions on the comments and I'll make sure to respond to them as well. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay, this question is there a minimum time required to be engaged before you file for a marriage-based green card? Okay, so good news, there's no minimum time that you have to be engaged for. There's no law that says you have to be engaged for a certain amount of time and then you could get married and then you could file for your green card. Okay, so there's no law, there's no minimum requirement. There is, something to say about if you have a longer relationship, if you've been together for a longer time, you have more evidence, you have more proof, you have more pictures, you have more things that you can submit and you can show as proof of your relationship. But you can also get married very quickly and have your immigration case approved. Okay. The best thing to do is really to connect with a professional that can help you set up your case the best way and submit it the best way. And I was answering John's question before, if you prepare a good case, if you include all the information, all the evidence and everything that's needed and really put together a comprehensive packet, you have a great chance, especially if the relationship is short and you've only been engaged for a short time or you've known each other for a short time after marriage. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Rosemary, if it asks as part of the questionnaire, I'm not sure exactly which questionnaire you're filling out. You can just say NA or you could say none. Okay. But you always have to be truthful and honest. Okay, that's the most important thing. You cannot write anything that's not true in those documents. Okay. John, is there a minimum age or recommended age to get your adjustment of status approved faster? Well, you need to be in an age that it's legal to get married in the state where you are at, right? You need to get that marriage certificate. So other than that, as long as and there's also a requirement to be at least 18 to be a petitioner for the affidavit of support. But other than that, there's no age limitations. So it won't make your adjustment of status faster. Okay. If you want to make your case go faster, make sure to submit the medical exam with your adjustment of status. I don't know if you've already filed it. Make sure to include it with the actual packet. Okay. Perfect. Okay, let me see. Let me find a good question. Okay, I plan to petition my wife and my daughter for a green card. Do I need to petition them at the same time? Okay, this is also a very common question. If you are a U.S. citizen, for example, and you want to petition for your spouse and you want to petition for your daughter or your stepchild, you actually need to file 2 separate petitions, one for your spouse and one for your daughter, and you're actually not obligated to file for them at the same time. It's recommended if they want to immigrate together to file for them at the same time so that the cases can stay together and they can, the likelihood of them going to an interview at the same time will increase, but it is definitely it's not required. Okay. Let's see. You're welcome, John. I'm happy to help. Feel free to reach out anytime if you need more help, okay? Let's see. Okay, we have a question here about citizenship. How long after I become a resident can I apply for my citizenship? Great question. So, to become a citizen of the United States, generally speaking, most people need to go through the naturalization process. The naturalization process takes care here in the United States, and there's a special form that you file. It's called the N-400 form. You might have realized by now that everything has a number in immigration. There's a number or a letter involved. So the number in the letter is N-400, and you can file for your naturalization, generally speaking, 5 years after you become a resident. So that's the date of your first green card. So if you got a conditional green card first, then and then file to remove the conditions, and for the 10-year green card, the day that you start is the date of your first green card, 5 years. Now, there is an exception for people that are married to U.S. citizens. So if you are married to and living with your U.S. citizen spouse, you actually can apply for your naturalization for your citizenship after 3 years. Okay, and there's another rule that says that you can actually do early filing, so you can actually file 90 days even before the 3 or the 5 year mark. Okay. So if you're interested in applying for naturalization, we'd love to talk to you. We actually offer free naturalization citizenship eligibility screening. There's no commitment. You can just call us. We'll ask you some questions, make sure that you qualify and that you're eligible for it. Okay, wonderful. Well, let me see if I have any more questions here that I missed. Okay. Hi, Bipin. How are you? You visa-based adjustment of status need the 864W form. Well, the U visa, I believe, yes, you do need the 864W. You're not subject to the public charge or affidavits of support, so you can submit it. It's a very simple, easy form. Okay. Okay, folks, let me check if I have any questions on YouTube, Facebook. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. I'm going to wrap up today's live show. Before we go, I want to wish everyone happy holidays. Stay healthy and safe and have the best time. I hope you all get some time to spend with your loved ones and your families, and that everyone stays healthy and safe. If you have any questions, feel free to send us your questions. You can send us on Facebook, on YouTube. You can send us a private message, or you can comment on any of our posts, and we would love to see how we can help you with your immigration questions. I'm not going to be here next week because it's the holiday, so I'm going to be off next Thursday, but I'll be here the first Thursday of 2024 to kick off the new year strong. So until then, have a wonderful time. See you later.